summer
Everybody
shade.
under like Levi.
You know, that sells
Yeah.
like tons yet.
And then after the story, they said that they were bought by such and such, but the
Way
Finding
too
Google
old.
family still has a big impact.
Yeah, they do.
All right, it's 6 o'clock and Alicia wants to be out of here by 7, so.
No more
I'm
people
gonna
talking.
at 7.
You're leaving at 7, regardless, okay.
I'm leaving at 6
Somewhere.
You are
She
somewhere.
won't be alone.
Somewhere else.
Yes. We're all somewhere, we're all here because we're not all there, right? Okay, and,
Can we add one thing to the agenda?
sure,
Under new business, to set your special meeting regarding the wellness plan. Last night at the city council meeting, you guys wanted to set a special city council meeting so that all the members of the council could attend a meeting to discuss the
Oh.
wellness plan.
yep,
I have available dates.
sure, I forgot my calendar, you're looking at it.
November 5th, nope, that's out. November 6th,
That's it, Wednesday?
it is. November 13th is a Wednesday. November,
Wednesdays don't work.
okay. November 18th is a Monday. November 19th is a Tuesday, and November 20th is a Wednesday, never mind. 18th or 19th?
In the evening, you guys do later.
6, 5, 6, 4, 3.
I can't, the 18th.
I guess the time would be the first thing, is what time do you want to meet?
6 like normal,
5 is good.
5 is better,
AM?
Sean, you can't meet five.
I can make 5:30.
5:30?
Does
Okay.
6 work better?
6 would work better. I mean, then I'm not driving in a blizzard.
What day
Does
is
the
it?
It could happen.
Monday the 18th or Tuesday the 19th at 6.
The 18th. did-
Either one
Just
is
if you-
fine.
I have
Okay.
a meeting the 19th, so could we do 18?
Jeff can't make it the 18th, Neil can't make it the 19th.
Yeah, I have a meeting. Another finance.
26th? You're out a whole month then, just to let you know.
The 26th, what day of the week is that?
Tuesday?
Is there any way a Thursday would work?
The
The
7th you
28th
have
is
joint
open.
planning, the
Yeah.
14th you have policy and procedures, the 21st is wine club.
In the evenings?
Yep.
Yep, 6, 6, and 7.
We can do it after Wine Club.
Could do that.
Might get vocal.
6 o'clock.
They're all 6. What's on the 7th?
Joint planning at 6.
I don't
14th
think
is,
that one's gonna take us very long.
I'm not gonna be there, I have surgery.
What's wrong with the 26th?
It's a month away.
Yeah. We're trying to get this done.
And then whatever
Well,
we
when
put
do we
together
expect
is
to have everything sent out for it and ready?
my understanding is we can have everything done by the end of the week or tomorrow.
Probably by tomorrow.
Because if everything's distributed, then if we have 3 weeks to be working on it, and then everyone can come with ideas.
In my experience, we'll send it out 3 weeks and you guys all have very busy schedules and nobody will look at it for 3 days before it's. I mean, I could be very wrong and I don't mean to offend.
Yeah. No,
Because I offend really easily, I guess, lately. But it's totally up to you guys if you want to do it that way.
So it looks like the 26th, or somebody's not going to be able to be there, or we're going to have to give up a Wednesday.
Could we do a 5:30 on Wednesday?
I work,
What?
I work Wednesday.
What?
I thought you know, we're Mondays and Thursdays.
I work every day. I work and work and
What
work.
time do you get done
I
working?
can't seem to dig out. The hole just gets deeper.
Okay, we're going to have to run without somebody being there then, because there is no physical other days except the 26th that works for everybody, according to what you've all said.
What about the 4th?
Nope.
Sure?
we have a plan. No, that planning board
That
meeting
planning
just got
board.
I have
canceled.
a commitment, first Mondays.
Yeah, Jeff cannot make it.
Pick a date and where most of us can be here.
13th.
Could we do it after our meeting on the 11th?
Well, I'm not gonna be here the 11th, City Hall is closed, but we have a meeting on the 12th
We
Oh,
could do it before. Could we do it before
at 5.
or after?
No,
That
not for
meeting-
Sean.
That meeting isn't too heavy right now, but we do have the public hearing for the certifying of past due bills that night. So we'll at least have a 6:30 meeting, up until 6:30 for sure. So, sure, we could set it for 7:15. Usually we're done by 7:15. Pack a lunch.
or pizza.
Well,
12. Okay, so,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
special city council, 11, 12,
the day after.
19 at 7:15. Following
You
council.
won't be at that
But
council,
also joint
Pardon?
planning.
you won't be at that council meeting?
No, that's canceled.
Saturday, we won't be there.
I can be at the council meeting, but I have to leave for a funeral.
26th?
26.
Okay, special city council meeting the 26th at 6.
That would be chief for your wellness plan.
Can we let the fire chief know as well, make sure that he was there?
Sure, yeah.
All right, then we've got the 2020 budget and future budgets. And he's got some update there, potentially.
Right. Everybody's looking at the budget deficit and so forth, trying to, knock off $10 and $5 and $50 and $100. And we try to save 100,000, it's insane, doesn't work. So basically what I was doing when I was driving around, like I do all the time, it might not work in the city world, but in the business world, we never put money away when something we can purchase anyway. And if times are tough, we don't put it away and pack it into the thing, pack it into a different spot. So my theory is to take all of the capital improvements for the next 2 years and slice them in half. Capital improvement isn't going anywhere but into a fund. We have reserves if there's a major need for somebody. If you take all the capital improvements off for at least the first year, and maybe we sell land, you don't have to do the second year, you can save 124,000. You can take 124,000 off the budget. Otherwise, you can drop it down to 106,000, and then we only have to do a 5% increase in the levy. Keep in mind, we have money in the reserves if there's a need. The wants are gonna have to be set back a little bit. And if you go across the board, take 50% across. Now, some people will say, well, we can't build our building. Well, we ain't building a building anyway, we don't got no money. Thoughts?
I don't like it, but I guess my thinking, why wouldn't you then just take it out of reserves? And you keep your designated funds.
Because then we still have the reserves.
And really, it's just cutting the throats of all the department heads.
How much is it?
But this is the capital improvement.
Right.
But like the PD's capital improvement is based on a depreciation scale for
Yeah.
timely replacement of specific things.
Correct. You've got to step back and tighten up a little bit.
I already have.
Well, then.
I mean, the city used to replace squad cars every other year. We're pushing every 3 years now.
The city used to have 2 squad cars, now we got 4.
But we're not replacing them any earlier. We're pushing them back.
But that's a theory. I brought up the theory because in a business, this is what you do. In the city, I have no idea how you guys operate, because you don't run it like a business. So, businesses run completely different, that's my biggest problem here. Not my problem, I just don't understand. But, it's a theory.
How much is in the reserve fund right now? Approximately.
1.5 million.
So, it's just a theory.
I mean, we're already operating with our reserve fund quite a bit beyond the council's goal of, was it 8 months in reserve?
60% of the previous year's expenditures.
Yeah. And we have quite a bit in there beyond that, right?
Oh, yes.
So there would be money in the reserves to take that same amount out of reserves and leave the capital improvements the same.
Well, this is what we were doing with what we came up with last month. Was it?
We did some of this, but we didn't just take.
We were
all of
going
it
in
and cut
with a
it in half.
negative and that would have to come out of reserves.
Yeah.
And then,
And then it was like, what, 10?
9.5% levy increase.
And
What did we end up last year with, we ended up putting a little bit more in reserves, didn't we?
I have to check the audit. We've been trying to stay right around 1.7.
Yeah.
well, we want reserves so we can keep our good rating for
Bond rating.
borrowing. Whatever that amount is, that's what we need to keep in there. Because when you start paying more for interest, then projects aren't gonna get done because you're gonna have, you know, it throws the cost of them way crazy. You gotta be able to bond right.
We have bonds falling off in 3 years. Right?
Yes, and it still won't be, well, we'll have to buy them early, buy them out early, but it still won't make up the whole 100,000 because on this project we did this year, the bond payments go up before they go down. So. Oh. So.
I have no problem with 9.9. You look at surrounding cities and you look at your property taxes and the little portion of the city, 10% is $30-40.
Yeah, but the problem with 9.9 is that the school district is also going to be increasing taxes with this big addition they're putting on. And so they're all hitting it the same year.
But to be fair, the taxpayers voted for that.
Yes, they did.
Not all of them.
No, yeah, no, some of them.
Majority of them voted.
And to be fair,
Of those that
your
voted.
price values on your houses went up 15-20%. So people are getting taxed from the house values that went up, which is a good thing. The
One could argue too that, you know, how many city voted for or against it, and how many the non-city voted for or against it, so you can't really.
Well, it's passed and it's not here now. It all depends if we want to stay progressive and move things along with the city, or if we want to go back and, I don't know.
the fire capital improvement, does that include the building and the small equipment?
It's just the
And
building.
Just the building? Okay.
The whole thing is that it was not set up to be indefinite.
Right now, the budget, the way it sits right now, is going in at 9.5%.
And if you look at surrounding cities, they're all over the board. We heard from Rockville, I think, what did Dwayne say? I think he said it was like 30%.
Yeah, 30-something percent. are going in there.
30-something%, and others are
Holy crap.
5.
Like I said, this is just a theory. It doesn't work in
Yeah.
the city. It doesn't work. My world, it works.
If they see, if the legislature sees a bunch of cities going in at astronomical numbers, they'll put back on levy limits. And then we'll have to kick a few people out so we stay below 2,500. Otherwise, I'm not gonna go through all that red tape.
And the one thing that we don't know is what, you you know, we're always a year behind when it comes to what the actual tax base is.
Mhm.
It's worked to our advantage the past few years, but you don't know until a year afterwards.
How much extra did we put in reserves in the last year?
So I was trying to think, it wasn't a lot, but because we came in at under what we budgeted and had some surplus.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, it seems like that happens pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very tight budget. I'm not thinking.
No, I know, but I mean, like, almost every year when you look back at the bar graphs in our audits,
Mhm.
almost every year there's a decent amount of money that goes into reserves at the end of the year that was sort of
Because there's not,
budgeted for some units or whatever.
there's not an ounce of fat anywhere in this. I mean, there's none, so it's gonna be close to stay within this. Because I think we cut everything, I think, $25, $50, we're all cut out, so.
I lean towards agreeing with Ron there that, you know, to leave it in there and to reallocate some of our reserves towards those. No, that's kind of what they're there for.
That's where we're at with 9.5. Was it like 70-something, 78,000 or something? We're gonna have to take out reserves.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind taking
And I think that's workable. And we're still got enough in reserves, it's not gonna affect our rating.
Right.
I mean,
That's my biggest concern.
even if we did the 5% or the 8.2, I mean, we still have enough in our reserves.
Yeah.
just some more cloth, seltzer. That's my 2 cents.
So that would be, yeah, it'd be an additional 30,000 that we take out.
It's the, you have these numbers over here, right? That's what you're basing off of.
Well, right now, the budget is at 9.5, and that's $65,879 additional dollars. And at 5%, you're getting $34,729 additional dollars. So it would be that difference in between that you would take out of that additional 30,000 that would come out of reserves. Besides what you're already short in addition to. And if the council is good with this, then we'll go ahead and start working on the PowerPoint presentation and for truth and taxation and December.
Future budgets, we're a little premature. I move we have some. No. Okay. Street CIP and what first?
Well, street CIP, obviously, we got a 2021 project, which is mostly overlays plus the downtown alleys. I know there was discussing of moving everything back 2 years. And then obviously in 2023 is the downtown project, which is going to be just about as large as this year's project, you know, it's going to be right around the 3 million. And that project is very heavily related towards the general fund. There's just, it's mainly water main downtown that the utilities will pick up. Other than that, it's because of the extra wide streets, sidewalks, and it's all general fund items. It's not very much water and sewer, so just giving everybody fair warning there that if we do want to move it back 2 years, I guess, I think between Chuck and I, we would suggest possibly next year doing a seal coat. just to keep the aesthetics up, and, you know, when you put the tack coat down, it really does help spruce it up.
When did we seal coat it? I thought we just seal coated it a couple of years ago.
I think it was 4 years. But if we push this back another 2 years, then it's gonna be another, we're talking 5 years, or actually 6 from today.
I mean, we should be really careful on that one, because if we do anything downtown, or wanna do any aesthetics downtown, or make the sidewalks larger or something, we don't wanna kick that, we wanna make sure that plays the same part of the game.
Right.
That's why kicking it 2 years probably makes sense.
Or not. Pedal.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna have a
spinning our wheels with.
Good plan
with
with
downtown
2023.
to spend a lot of money on this big project like that. I don't think with the alleys need work.
The alleys do
That
need
we have, no, that we have to do, and I think we could live with seal coating. Buy us a little bit of time.
Is there any safety, or not safety, they used to be
Streetscapers?
Yeah, grants. Do they still have that program? It was safety money. that
Yeah,
the
it's
safe-
part of the, it's really part of the transportation alternatives funding now. I haven't seen a lot of streetscapes
I haven't,
funded recently,
I haven't either.
but
There's so much outcry about just, you know, improvement, you know, fixing the potholes and that, so for them to be at any level, state or federal, putting money into streetscape, I think, kind of barking up the wrong tree.
they used to, and there
Yeah.
might be some out there, we can always do some checking.
When would you have to know if you're gonna kick it back? I mean, whether next year, 2 years, I mean,
Normally, we always start, like the 2021 project would start in the spring of 20.
so 2023, you got till 2021.
Yes.
So if something does happen downtown,
Yeah.
you've got 2 years to. Right?
Yeah, the 2023 project, you know, we would start it in the spring of 2022. Although this, we may want to start a little bit earlier, you know, being we have all the lighting, et cetera, but that,
So this might be one way to get people to start moving downtown. It's like, okay, you get till spring of 2022 and we're doing something. You want to put up a new resource center? We got to get it done now.
Would work. Because the state, because the library system is funding next year. So it's 2020. And then they fund every 2 years. So the next time they would fund is 2022.
I mean, if we don't put a due date on something, nothing ever gonna get done.
That's why we have CRPs.
okay. We want to push it back, or?
I think we're looking at pushing it back.
And we can't make a decision tonight.
No, we can't, but they can
Okay,
put,
push everything back 2 years.
that's,
They can,
that's, yeah.
okay.
Is that 2021 project, is that a mill and overlay?
Mostly.
Is there a lot of utilities on that one? None?
Ron, pushing it back. Somewheres, can we do the alleys? Or won't that happen until 25?
No, the alleys are still.
Well, the alleys are incorporated into 2021 project. If we want to still do the alleys, we could pull that out and do the alleys and.
Do the alleys and the
Overlay.
seal coating?
We can.
I can't see waiting till 25 to do the alleys.
No.
Well, no, the alleys would be done then in 2023 if we push everything back.
Oh, okay.
You know,
That
we
may
could
make
keep them on a
sense.
schedule for 2020, that's entirely up to the
No,
council.
23 is probably okay, I don't know. Maybe not, they're bad, ain't
And
they?
drive on your buses through.
At 40?
Quieter down.
Just do it without the
And
kids
then
on
we'll
it,
be over
please.
Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
No, I have some that need
No,
to
Last time we didn't.
I'll get the ambulance to
get
sit
the
in
bell
the
rung.
Yeah.
The other, which I just brought up, question, if we assess the alleys, the business owners, the last time we did the alleys, we did not assess. That was picked up by the city as a city cost. I don't know if we want to do that again, or because it was similar, you know, we did the alleys one year, and then we did the downtown the next year. I think that was the reasoning for it, so the downtown businesses wouldn't get hit twice. Unless you want us to do a rough cost estimate on the alleys and,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that would be
okay.
good. There's a lot of $1 million years,
That's,
multiple years.
You almost have a double standard, because if you tar an alley in residential, they are assessed.
That is correct. But this was a council decision back in 91, so I mean, it's,
The
Does
businesses
that-
already pay a lot higher taxes though than the residential. I mean, or they pay a lot more in taxes. That was why we picked up more of the drainage project in there.
And they're gonna get hit pretty hard within a couple of years too.
yes, they will.
With the downtown.
Yeah.
There's no issue with doing seal coating and alleys the same year?
No, I don't think so.
Anything else on that?
The only thing, if we don't know what our big plan is for redevelopment, there could be a street put in that's not there now. Or an alley.
Now, if anything, they're being taken out.
Well, I'm just thinking down the road, and that's no secret, AMPI would like river closed. When and if that happened, you may want to make a current alley into a street.
Probably not.
Probably not room.
Yeah.
So one
I would think the alley you're talking about is behind James. Be the one that,
Possible, depending what type of development would happen
like
on.
back behind Gene's
This
property
block.
and everything else. If that block were to go away.
Well, I know, but there's a road on the other side of those buildings that it's kind of a main road downtown. It's nice and wide. I don't know why you would need to make a road.
Depends what type of development would occur.
Yeah, that's an order.
But I know, this is why,
Just from what I hear, I wouldn't worry about AMPI wanting that closed anytime soon.
You're looking forward to a cheese shop, aren't you, Neil?
Rod, is it gonna be really expensive to do just the alleys? Is it gonna be cost prohibitive to just do, cause that's
No,
why
I-
we have such big projects, is because nobody wants to bid the little ones.
You answer that one?
Yeah, I mean, you can typically in a bigger project, you get a little better price, but that might be small enough where you can, I don't know, we'd have to look at the dollar wise, you could even quote it possibly, and so.
Don't know the engineering costs.
I just don't, yeah, even with the pothole thing, that was like pulling teeth for you to find anybody that was so pothole, so. I was just curious for 100,000 if we would be able to find anybody.
There are paving guys around that would come in for that.
And does the same group do the seal coating as the paving? No, different?
Usually different crews, yeah.
But I think we want to get, I mean, these estimates are based on footages and stuff, we want to get into a little more refined estimate.
Here's some ballparks and we'll go from there. Okay, City Hall security.
Tom, Fred found that in our document that we have with the county, our mitigation plan, that he believes that we should be able to apply for a grant from FEMA to get the security. Paul and I did have one quote, which was $60,000. And when we were talking about that, Tom thought that he could get something. So we did contact Erin at the county. Tom worked with her, and we have put in the initial interest in a grant. We're just waiting to hear back from FEMA if they'd like us to do the full-blown application. Stearns County said that Erin would support us as a needed requirement for the city due to the crime that we've had and the murders and everything else. So we're kind of on a holding pattern until we hear from Tom or Erin to see if we qualified for that, because it would be 100% covered through the mitigation plan.
And we are waiting on another quote on some cameras. Guy reached out who does it as a side gig, but has installed them through quite different other places. He hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Those are card swipes to replace all the keys. Said someone said they're less, or they're susceptible to hacking. Is that true? Anybody heard that?
I haven't heard anything like that.
Anything on the internet's going to be susceptible, it's just how well you protect it.
I was gonna say pretty much anything we do on our doors is susceptible to somebody getting around it, so. I mean,
And not
you
all
can
the
pick a
doors.
lock, you can,
Yeah.
Not all the doors would have the swipers, just some of the major ones. To try to keep down on the cost, we just picked like major doors.
I think we have all the exterior, except for maybe that one, I don't think we did a card
Yeah.
swipe on that one. But the back door, the front door, the PD garage, the other PD door, between the two, PD and City Hall. I think we do your office and my office.
Nope, we did the door going from the
Oh,
lobby
yeah.
in.
So I think there were like 5 or 6 that we had identified as for key swipes.
All right. We'll wait on that. Staffing update.
Get to my list here. Liquor store is at full staff, police is at full staff, public works is in process of hiring one part-time, they have one application for Melrose. And admin staff is at full staff, and I have that we were hiring 3 in the fire department, but Andy said last night 2.
2.
And we've got no applications,
For firefighters.
no applications for firefighters.
One other thing on staffing, just to make you guys aware of, the township talked to me today about a proposal for them. They apparently discussed it at their meeting last night, so.
Butch said something at the 5 o'clock meeting about that.
Oh,
Pretty coded, but
Knock me over with a better.
I told them today when I talked with them that I will look at something, but that ultimately we'll have to have, one of our committee meetings on it to, finalize what, if anything, we propose to them, so. But just wanted to put that on your guys' radar for conversations. That'll be coming up anyway, so. I think their initial thought right now, and I'm don't know how much Butch said, but I think their initial thought is kind of looking at some type of a, you know, position that would be bringing in would almost be like a school resource officer, and then we'd have that ability in the summer to then move them back out onto the road, providing more coverage then to the township, so.
I kind of thought you'd move it to finding another officer. I don't know if it would just be a,
Do you have 4 officers, or is that including you? It says 1 chief, 4 officers.
Yep, that's right. There's 4 and then me.
Tom, Carter, Colin.
Cody,
The 3 Cs.
3 Cs and a T.
Who's Cody?
It's the one we hired in March.
Where have you been, Neil?
I don't think I,
Are you on Friday? You'd be around Friday. I'll have him introduce himself.
Friday?
If you just drive up and down Business 20.
No,
Send
you
him
might
over to
get me
Neil's
for not
house.
having a seatbelt on, so. that's all.
Have him just watch for the bus going down.
That's all, guys.
At
We'll let
40.
that go.
Yeah.
Shoot,
And
okay, good.
Stephanie fully trained and,
Yep, she's doing good on my end.
okay.
I have no complaints.
And then on Public Works, Ron, how are you counting Brad?
He's a part-time.
2 part-time, okay. 1 is Dave and 1's Brad, or,
Yep, and then they're hiring one.
okay. And hopefully 267. You got 1 coming back for sure.
For sure.
Okay.
Was there any, just going back to last night's meeting, request to mow the Historical Society? I guess it's kind of your decision.
We can't decide tonight, but
No,
we could.
no, but-
My question is on, first they're not looking for somebody just to mow. They want somebody to spray, they want somebody to weed whip, they want somebody to take care of their driveway. I was thinking about it this afternoon when I drove by. You're gonna have 3 hours a week?
I don't think it'd be that much, but
But
there's
you gotta
time,
weed
yes,
whip around all
yes.
the buildings,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
weed whipping is,
it's a slow
Yeah.
that's a
process.
slow process.
By the time you weed whip around all those buildings, mow the ditch, mow the front of it, make sure there's no weeds in the driveway, clean that up, spray around the rocks and everything, I bet you average almost 3 hours a week. 2, for sure.
Probably 2,
But I'm saying 3 because you gotta get a guy over there.
right?
And they don't have their own mower or any equipment?
No.
So you're looking at a cost of a guy at like $60 an hour. Looking at 120, 180 bucks a week.
Roughly.
And
I
then-
throw out a suggestion. Maybe we want to encourage them to talk to the Resource Recovery Center.
They don't have any equipment though either.
They may not have equipment, but it may be something May would look at doing. And the reason I say that is I just watched them rake a yard earlier today. And it was like, there were like 8 of them there raking actually a really small yard. And it was like in and out. And I know they're looking for things to do. And, you know, I talked to the people who stay on the property, and it was, I think, they make a donation to the food shelf for them doing that. It may be something that would be beneficial to the.
Yeah, they've
to
done a
them.
lot of yards. And that's a good idea because if you tell the museum, you gotta buy a mower.
Buy a mower and a couple weed whippers.
I mean, 8 of them are gonna whip that thing out in no time.
We'd be further ahead to help them secure a mower than to provide the labor.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll try and.
Well, and I'm
If we
sure-
want to do a donation or something that way.
Do,
I'm sure people would donate.
I haven't been around the water plant. Is there much mowing done around here, or is that all gravel?
There's some, yeah.
There's some,
There's some,
Not a
so we
lot.
have to mow that.
yes, we go down there to mow that in.
Yes.
But most of our buildings and equipment, you know, we use Roundup around there, so.
Yeah, I was thinking Roundup goes a long ways
Yeah.
compared to weed whips, but.
Almost no trimming around there.
Yeah.
Do you use Roundup around our water treatment plant?
For weed control.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Just, you don't wanna drink it.
It's all piped in
No.
and out, sealed
Yeah.
for your protection.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's
That's
a
what I thought.
couple possibilities.
What's that?
It's the best water in town.
Yeah. Do we still have the tractor for watering the planters downtown?
We do.
Does that have a blower deck on it?
It does, it's not in the best of shape.
Not in the best of shape, huh?
But we still do have it, yes.
So we have
If we want to donate that to them.
Could probably find a used deck at a John Deere dealer, I'm sure. You know,
Free of room in your shop.
Yeah. And we don't have to build a shop.
We could donate it to the recovery center and then they can water downtown flowers too.
All kinds of ideas.
They're gonna start a lawn mowing business now, yard care.
Yeah.
Well,
So we could
that's-
promote it to the community.
No, talking about the planters, a lot of nice comments when we had those planters down there, but it was Bob McDaniel out there watering,
Yeah.
3 times a week or whatever, until he got there. So we put in the street, downtown street improvement project, we put waterers in all the light poles. Right?
Aren't there sprinkler systems in those planters?
In the plant.
These are hanging planters.
Yes.
Oh, the hanging
Yes.
planters.
Hanging planters, yeah.
These are hanging ones.
Yep.
Those must have went away before I got here.
Mhm.
So the potential of donating a mower rather than providing the material, rather than buying one and donating?
Are we allowed to do that, to donate our surplus items?
Loan it?
Well,
Lease it for $1?
do you remember how did we acquire it? Did the city buy that for?
I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure we did, yeah.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's there and it's, you know, we use it very rarely.
Yeah.
So they can just use it.
Yeah.
We don't have to sell it, buy it, lease it. Just,
Let them use it, and they
Let
can
them
mow
use it.
around the water.
Please mow, use this.
Yeah.
Feel free.
That might be an option, let that go around the water treatment plant too.
Yeah.
right, they could do both. They could maybe find a used trimmer, there's gas trimmers you can buy for $10. People would probably donate them an old one, everybody wants battery ones.
Lots of ideas.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we talked about the downtown, a little bit with our, street improvement project. What else you got for us, Chuck, from Jan?
I do have a letter from Jana, draft, I would call it at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
She lays out, sort of the phase 2 process of, which really is the public engagement part of it and developing of alternatives. So she sort of goes through, talks about the establishment of an advisory committee as part of the process up front, getting the advisory committee up to speed and having them sort of be one of the focus groups as part of this process. And then you can see as she steps through here, there's a broad community engagement, and there's a series of advisory committee meetings to get to the point where he prepares some draft alternatives for everybody to review. And then you get feedback from the community on that. Basically get to the end is trying to get to where you have some alternatives, some layouts, some concepts of where you envision the downtown heading. Now, she put some preliminary fees associated with this in here. these fees are based on this draft, and she called it a pretty robust community engagement process, which as I read through it, I felt the same way, so I asked her about backing that down if need be, what she could. One suggestion she did make is you could actually phase it, which she thought would probably be a better approach, rather than if you didn't want to sort of jump into the whole thing at once. She said really you could go to step 5 in the process as sort of the first phase of this phase, and then see where you're at once you get to those alternatives, and then decide, you know, sort of refine the scope moving forward after that. So I wanted to get this out to the council and everyone for initial thoughts. We can refine and tweak this however, you know, the council sees fit.
You get a phase or phase.
If you want.
Phase 2F, 2A.
2A.
I just started looking at it, and the undertaking gets to be quite costly.
Yeah.
You know, you know, I was,
This isn't in our budget.
Does she have some kind of timeframe on this process, or like just the first 5 steps?
well, the whole process, I think when she was here, she was envisioning that 8 to 12 months, you know, depending on the establishment, how long it takes to get the advisory committee put together and stuff.
The whole process
The
for phase
whole
2?
process for phase 2.
Okay.
Now, going through step 5, I'd have to get a handle from her, obviously, would it be less than that?
I'm assuming that especially since we did phase 1 with her, she's pretty much our only option. Unless we wanted to restart the whole show or.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a lot of knowledge now from being involved, you know, through that.
And a working relationship now with a lot of the business owners.
I know.
She prints a whole bunch of rumors and lists a whole bunch of facts.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
What's that?
She printed a whole bunch of rumors
Oh.
in her whole report. That's my only problem. The rumors should have been put in there unless they're a fact.
I mean, my concern was her comment about the serious issues with the recovery center.
Yeah.
When there are no police reports, the issue was she saw a group of people smoking. I mean, I called her up and I said, what were the issues? And it was a group of people smoking. And now we have, so.
That's my only issue with her is like that. And that's kind of like saying, that's why Painesville's like it is. Been like that for a long time. So that's my issue with it.
Yeah, a lot of what was in there was dispelled as not true.
And take that into consideration. How much money does EDAP have?
They're pretty solid.
They're pretty solid.
EDAP board would love this.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you canceled the
Well-
first time.
Being for pushing everything back, this isn't something that has to be done right now neither, but
No, but,
sooner or later.
again,
Well,
this,
Who cares about downtown deal?
regardless of who we have to do this, this is a 2-3 year, process anyway.
I could definitely reach out to somebody else as well. I mean, she's not the only one out there.
Well, I think if she just found out that we don't care about the rumors, we want the fact. We want the future, we don't want what's happened yesterday. I don't care about yesterday. 5 years ago, the place is exactly what it is right now, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we want to move forward. Sure. That's all I want.
Yeah, she has developed a relationship with some people and spent some time on it. They hate to go back and start over again, and we've spent some money on her already.
I mean, at the end of the day, I like the ideas she had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm sure she got some complaints from
think she probably heard it
A
from
few
multiple
people.
business owners downtown.
Right.
Did you ask her?
I know the two,
Did you ask her? Or you just assumed that?
they talked.
Right, but she
Business
talked to
owners.
a lot of business owners,
The
and
two
she
business
may have
owners
heard
talked
it
to me.
from others as well, is all I'm saying. So you're taking those two business owners who talked to you and you're making an assumption about it.
Right, because they're the ones who.
Instead of going
And those
to
ones
her and
call me.
asking.
We need the facts.
Business owners call me.
Yeah.
They told me the same thing.
I'm just saying, she might
Outside.
have heard it from more than two business owners,
I
but you're
don't,
just assuming that that's.
based on my conversation with her, I don't think that she did. I mean, and I did call her. I didn't ask it explicitly, so I am just,
Making an assumption.
but
Right.
based on our conversation, I do think it's a safe assumption.
Okay.
But I leave room for possibility that it's wrong.
I do know.
Thank you, Sean, for leaving that possibility open. That's so big of you.
We've all been wrong once or twice.
I do know that Cold Spring had went with CETA,
Yeah,
and they have dismissed that person
oh,
for lack of productivity
mm,
and not moving forward. And Richmond hired, she's from Tracy Ryan, and that's also been put on hold.
mm.
More because the clerk is due to have her baby, but also they're not really happy with the results they're getting from that either.
I don't necessarily want to go back and start over again, and, you know, if there's a way of
Just voicing our concerns to her.
fixing or, you
Yeah.
know,
I feel like we could probably communicate with her in a way that that issue can be resolved going forward.
and there's things that we can do on our end too, to be sure that what is put out is correct.
Yeah, I mean, on the whole, I was
Fact checked.
really encouraged by what she shared. I felt like she actually brought a very positive view of downtown, you know, and of the potential there. And so, I don't know. I walked away feeling pretty encouraged.
Would you like Chuck to get a revised number? if we're
Yeah.
Going through 5?
1 through 5, let's see what that is.
And I've just heard from a few businesses that weren't included in the interviews, that the next phase, they definitely, like Marla Hartman and
Mhm.
Carrie Lopez and that whole area, a lot of the people that run the PEP committee weren't included, and they really, really, really want to be heard, because they have a business downtown.
They would fall under number 1 here.
Yes,
Mhm.
and I did tell them,
Yeah.
I said that we will be, you know, I said, we're gonna contact the property owners to participate in this stuff. And they said, great, I'd love to.
We'll get an upgraded, or update.
All right. Strategic plan update.
City. Goal number 2 was redevelop and revitalize the downtown. We've got Janet King working on the presentation and phase 2. Leo Lewis, we were working with him on his concept for the library. And Justin Paffra, he was here last night with his presentation. Goal number 3, I don't have any updates at this time. I know we have had a couple people come in and looking at lots out in Heatherwood. I believe we may have one more building going up possibly this fall, because one of the people that bought a lot just sold their home. So they won't have, I don't think, any place to live, so. Goal number 4, the housing units. We've got TIF district with Tom Opaz. That is progressing along, and he will be building in 2020. Goal 5, follow through with the annexation plans. Bill did come to the April meeting in 2018 and talked about our options on annexation. kind of talking to some people that are planning on doing some things and seeing if they'll just annex it, but it's not going very good. Let's see. To address the needs for improving city facilities. We haven't done any more, I haven't done any more with that since we did the RFPs for architects for the Public Works building. Community identity, I felt that would come out with this research that we're doing on the downtown. And then improved communications and collaboration was the meeting this evening with the school and the township. And then we'll invite Brandon to the next one and see what they're up to. Is there anything that council would like me to add to the list?
How many years do we have left on our liquor store lease? 2021.
I just wanted to hear you say something.
And you had it on your liquor board agenda.
We just brought it up today, this is coming up, what do you think? Might be time to start. Maybe a conversation with Roger. See what he's thinking.
Chapco's building's available.
Yes,
it is.
Is it free? Bill's Liquor Warehouse.
Do you know, are they showing that building?
They've been
At
working
all?
on it.
They're working on it? Okay.
I've seen several people over on the roof.
I was just curious, the lights were on last night,
Yeah.
and I'm like, when we had driver's training, it was like,
They don't
why are the
have
lights on?
permits pulled. There aren't any permits pulled if they're working on the building.
They
the
were,
roof.
just somebody was up on the roof I saw when I took Zach to home to work yesterday.
It could be winterizing,
Yeah.
They can be-
winterizing.
I'll give up on the call and see if they've got anybody.
I think under goal number 11, we can address the ongoing solar housing.
So what? Ongoing.
Well,
Yeah.
for want of a better phrase,
Mhm.
perhaps, but,
Couple that in with the second bullet point.
yeah.
That will be, Bill Spooner will be bringing on the 12th of November to discuss setting up a public hearing to discuss May's request to be heard regarding the homes that they had selected for their clients to live in.
Maybe we want to look at a date for that.
We can look at it on the 12th, right?
Because the only night that any of these people are going to make it is the 20.
Couldn't you have it on the next council meeting then?
Oh, yes. Yep, you could. 25th.
So what we're saying is bring
'Cause-
coffee on the 25th.
Because Bill will definitely want to be there since he's been working with the league.
Are you talking about the public hearing on the 12th?
So you'd have the public hearing as part of your regular city council meeting, just like we have all our other public hearings.
If the council so wishes, unless they want to have it on a different date and time.
Well, you only have the 20, you just took your only day available, that was the 26th, unless you're going to do it the 27th, but that's a Wednesday.
Well, we could do it as part of our special council meeting on the 26th. It's a special council meeting. Could be extra special.
For 2 long nights.
Mm-hmm. That might be easier than council night.
Although it is kind of fun having a lot of people here on our council nights.
Are there, I don't, I'm not familiar with any, but do we have protocols on public forums and how long people are given the opportunity to speak? And
Yeah, we have a book that we have.
that's what I make sure it's all in there, so
It's
that's.
here on your bench. Haven't you seen it?
I have read through it, I just couldn't recall that piece.
Well, they can't all be talking the same
No.
topic.
No,
No.
You have to say something different, and it's 3 minutes.
3 minutes, right? And everybody that has their hand up doesn't have to necessarily.
They can't get up and go, ditto.
Well, in the past, a lot have had kind of a spokesman, and you end up with 2 or 3. But you get a lot of people coming to hear what's being said.
So is it 3 minutes go for May too?
Yep. 2.
She'll take a lot more than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else?